Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 630. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Selner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games, brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. On this podcast, we discuss a single video game each week, our time spent with it in the lead up to recording, and then we rank it. Where do we rank it, Matt?
On the list.
thefreecheese.com/the list if you want to follow at home. If you're watching later on, we'll have it on the screen when we rank live on this episode. Today's video game, Castlevania Rondo of Blood. I'm thrilled we've got a Castlevania game hitting the list. And I'm happy that it's not one that I almost put on the list a couple years ago. Before we dive in, Matt, what is a video game still unreleased officially in North America that you wish would have an English localization?
Mother 3.
Good answer. Great answer. That one at least does have a fan translation. The one that does not, that I'm still like, one day. There's a game called Cyber Doll for the Sega Saturn. And doll, I've learned, is like the Japanese refer to like Gundam and ships. Like the generic term for that is doll. So in this case, Cyber Doll, you're playing as like a, like a robot mech kind of thing, android, whatever. Cyborg? You're a cyborg. That's what you are. Cybernetic organism. It's like a cool RPG game where every time you defeat something, when you target your attacks at a specific part of their body, because defeating their arm lets you then collect their arm and equip it to yourself. So you end up like assembling yourself into this nightmare Frankenstein monster machine. And it looks really cool, and I wish it were easy to play. But alas, it's not. But yeah, Mother 3, Nintendo should get on that. They've had every opportunity. I ask that, of course, because this video game, Rondo of Blood, went long unlocalized in North America. We didn't officially get it until 2007, although it released 14 years earlier. Developed by Konami, published by, you're not going to believe it, Konami, for the PC Engine Super CD-ROM 2. First released October 29th, 1993. We did get it in North America as part of the Dracula X Chronicles package on PSP in 2007. It would later hit the Virtual Console on the Nintendo Wii in 2010, and Castlevania Requiem bundled up Rondo of Blood and its sequel, Symphony of the Night, for PlayStation 4 in 2008. There's no English version of the back of the original box because it didn't exist. So we're going to read with... I'll give you a brief part of the... This is what the back of the PSP case says. Count Dracula has returned and captured the young woman close to the famous vampire hunter Richter Belmont. Will Richter be able to defeat Dracula and rescue his girlfriend in this new 3D adventure for PSP? Obviously. No. But within this 3D adventure for PSP, you can unlock the classic side-scrolling adventure Rondo of Blood, which has never before been released in North America. There you have it. That was the first time I played Rondo of Blood, was that PSP release of it. Was this your first go at Rondo?
Yes. Yes, very much so.
So let's dive into that a little bit before we dive into the game. Look, I've long gone through my personal journey with Castlevania on this website, but it has been a while, and this is our first official Castlevania game on the list, so indulge me. As a child, I received a copy of Castlevania for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Cartridge only, no box, nothing. But are you familiar with the box art for Castlevania 1?
I feel like I've seen it. I can't think of it, but I will pull it up.
It's this beautiful looking painting, and it's got Simon on the front whipping, the castle's there, and then Dracula's up in the sky, like kind of looking over the castle, but it's like got all these like green hues, like it's the haunting looking image, but it's like
Yes.
exciting in its own way, and I love the cover art of that. Um, I forget the name of the artist. Um, Apologies, but um, I had the cart and it never worked. Every time I sat down to play my NES, I'd put it in just to check to see if maybe today it worked. If I was in between games, I'd pop it in like, oh, okay, I'm done playing Super Mario 3. Let me pop this in before I play Tetris. Up, still doesn't work. Okay, great. So I never got to play it, but I'd wanted it so much that I asked for anytime I saw something Castlevania in the store, I wanted it. Eventually, I land a copy of Castlevania The Adventure, which might be right here. Nope, that's not. Thought I had it in a Game Boy. Um, Castlevania The Adventure on Game Boy, which is not a great video game. So that was technically my first Castlevania, but it did enough to like set the mood. There's a really, really great opening theme. The first stage of that game has like one of my favorite songs ever in a video game. But dude, like I didn't play Castlevania until Virtual Console when I could finally like buy it. Um, After like just having that cartridge haunting and taunting me for, over a decade. I did, however, randomly get a copy of Symphony of the Night that was just gifted to me. Disc only in a pile of, hey, your kid likes video games, right? Do you think here you go? It's where I also got your favorite Die Hard trilogy for PS1. Also, they were just like shoved in like a PlayStation Underground demo disc cardboard thing.
Pause for a
That's
second.
where
Please stop orienting Die Hard trilogy and my favorite game, please.
just feel like they're kind of synonymous. So I play Symphony of the Night, and you've played Symphony of the Night, and those out there who've played Symphony of the Night understand how like wholly influential that game is on an entire genre. But so that was like my second-ish experience with Castlevania. So, and that's like the one that set the stage. To this day, I don't think I can reasonably say that I have a more favorite game than Symphony of the Night. Especially when like I played that game a bunch throughout like elementary, middle, and early high school, only to find out somewhere mid high school that there's a second castle. Like that stuff, that game's just perfect. Um, Obviously since then I've played all of the Castle. I think I've played every Castlevania at this point. Outside of the like there's some like Tiger Electronic stuff I haven't had my hands on. There's a couple things that maybe I haven't seen all the way through to the end, but yeah, generally I'm there. Um so Rondo for me, the first time I played Rondo was that PSP iteration. Um but I this one, the first time I played through it and beat it, it all like clicked. And the years of finally playing Castlevania and understanding like all of that, everything came together and like kind of coalesced as Rondo of Blood. Also, coming at it from the Symphony of the Night angle, these two games are intrinsically linked, which is why Konami put them out as the Dracula X Chronicles um, on PSP. They're direct, or Symphony of the Night is a direct sequel to this in terms of story. Maria is there. Believe it or not, Dracula is there. Um, but yeah, so it's the long way around of like Castlevania has kind of been there since the as long as I can remember, even though I haven't necessarily been playing it for as long, just because the cartridge didn't work. You came into it with Symphony, right? Or had you
Yes.
played something prior to that? So that was your first.
Yeah, no, Symphony was yeah. Yeah. If I let off of something else, it wasn't for very long. But I played Symphony. I have gone on to play more of that style Castlevania with the some of the Game Boy Advance games. Something there's two of them I think I played. I don't think I played. I think there's three of them. I don't think I played the third one.
Yeah, there's Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow.
I think I played Aria and
You definitely did play Aria.
um not Circle. What was the other one?
Harmony of Dissonance.
Maybe Harmony of Dissonance. Then was the other one I played.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, um, played those. I don't. I can't remember if I beat them, finished them, or just got to the end or whatever. But I played most of them. And I have played a few stages slash levels of Super Castlevania 4, more so because it was on the SNES Classic, and
Yeah.
I was just playing around with it. But I got further and just like, oh, let me play this for a level. Oh, all right, that was cool. Let me move on. I played a little bit more of that.
Well, obviously, you will be playing Simon's Quest here pretty soon, live on the
Right.
internet. Um, I want to dive into that SNES game for a second. First, I want to shout out Tom Dubois. That's the name of the American illustrator who did the covers for a lot of old Konami stuff, but did the Castlevania box arts. Um, so Rondo of Blood is an interesting game for a number of reasons. Obviously, we didn't get it, so it's interesting in that regard. But Rondo of Blood is the product of kind of not knowing what to do with Castlevania next. We had the three games on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Um, and really, after they did that, once the 16-bit era came along, it was a lot of like, wait, what do we do now? So on the SNES, they opt for Super Castlevania 4, which is a remake of 1. It's complete different, like gameplay, everything. They do completely different things, but story-wise, you're back as Simon. It's pretty much a retelling of Castlevania 1. Um, they also do a different remake of Castlevania 1 for the Sharp 68,000 computer that uh, would later come to us on PlayStation 1 in 2001 as Castlevania Chronicles. But it's another full on remake of the first Castlevania and actually more faithful, I think, than Super Castlevania 4 is in terms of like a one-to-one thing. And then you've got Bloodlines on the Sega Genesis, which is a new game, but in turn, you play as one of two characters. One uses a whip and is a Belmont. The other one uses a spear and is not a Belmont. And you don't fight Dracula. You fight Elizabeth Bathory instead of Dracula at the end. So it's a different SNES, Genesis, and the Sharp 68,000 all went in kind of different directions. And then Rondo was the other one where, yes, the TurboGrafx is technically an 8-bit system and not 16, but this was exclusive to the PC Engine CD iteration, so it was able to do a lot more things that just standard PC Engine running a Hue card could not do. Um, and this one we will talk about in depth, but this one to me, after playing it, is just sort of like the quintessential final experience in that kind of old style of Castlevania before it shifted to Symphony of the Night. And I think you can see through playing this a lot of the DNA that would lead to such a dramatic change in gameplay style that's in Symphony of the Night. Namely, like, there's no bottomless pits anymore in Symphony of the Night. You know, this is the last game to do that in the 2D realm. Um, and it, you know, kind of built one collective map in Symphony of the Night, where here it's stage based still, but it's kind of like the last final, I don't know, coalescence of that era of Castlevania. So why now is the question we kind of always ask ourselves in terms of why are we adding this game to the list? For me, since I elected it, I've had a really tough time not adding Castlevania games to this list because obviously I want to, but I don't. We're just at a point now where are we at after we're at 156 games on the list now, right? So it was really hard in the first, or I knew in the first like season for second season that we changed to start doing this style podcast that I did not want to throw Castlevania because it had become way too common for me to like lean on Castlevania as a thing or of what I played or replayed or whatever. So I didn't want to go like right there. Um, but now like we're at a point where we have enough games. I think it's time for a Castlevania game. And I picked Rondo because I love this game. But I knew if I picked Symphony of the Night, for me, it'd be so impossible to not just want to put it all right. And it was just like I couldn't separate that. Like, and I also just like Symphony's become this other thing entirely. So it just felt weird to go that way on the podcast. But Rondo's like, okay, I know Rondo's really good. I know that Matt's not played these, and if Matt's gonna play one of these, Rondo is the one, right? Like, it doesn't get better than this in terms of this style of Castlevania game because all of the other ones have some sort of trade off that this one does not. You know, and this one's just you've played Symphony, so there's that connection. And for me, I remember the idea of like playing this for the first time and seeing like, oh wait, that's where Maria comes from. That's where like it makes Symphony this crazier experience. You know what I mean? That we just never had the context for until now. So I think from that perspective, I really wanted to put it here. Um, plus, it's time for Castlevania because my other alternative was to put Castlevania: The Adventure on the list at some point, and that game's not great. So I didn't want to like start off our Castlevania discussion by just putting something at the bottom. The other side too is I set out this season to split up the games I nominated into seasons. And for me, with fall being the point in the year where we gather the fruits of all of our hard work and it's the culmination of everything, right? Kind of, I felt like Rondo of Blood is the culmination of everything Castlevania developers had done in the years prior leading up to this. So this one, I don't know, it fit. I guess for you, what did you think when I added it to the list first?
I was actually shocked because for the reasons you said, I thought you would have went like Castlevania 3, something that's not high on your echelon before we Metal Gear Solid 2'd it and
Yeah,
put it somewhere where you'd just be disappointed after we discussed it. So I was
yeah,
shocked
yeah.
because I know your affinity for Rondo of Blood. I was shocked that this was the one if we were to put one on. But with that said, because of your affinity for this game, I was excited to hop into this one. So it was a dual-edged sword, if you would.
Yeah, and I want to dive into like your approach and that kind of stuff. Um, to kind of like start this off. But one thing I'll mention before we dive into that is key personnel in this game. I think worth calling out. There's a lot of the Castlevania team kind of moved between different games, but one that got the director's chair on this one was Togu Hagihara, who had done successful work on Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge for the Game Boy. As I mentioned, Castlevania The Adventure on Game Boy, not a great game. And it did a lot of things that did not feel like Castlevania. It didn't have sub weapons. You still had the stiff jump and you still had to like commit to that the same way that you did. Yeah. But it just wasn't there. So Hagihara had worked on Belmont's Revenge, and Konami was impressed with his work there and brought him over to be director on Rondo. And I think, well, I'll save those statements for later on. I'll save that. So I want to know, for me playing this time around, it was more like, let me just run through it again, and then let me go through stage select and just have fun. For you, you're experiencing it for the first time. What's your approach stepping into the first stage, sitting down to play?
First stage, it was fine. I was just go whip the things, keep going, do whatever. Then I got to stage 2 and I started dying. I was like, motherfucker. um, and yeah, so weird turn of events. I think I get through stage 2, maybe stage 3. I start dying. Sorry. I get through stage 2, and then I accidentally stumble. It's not terribly hard to stumble your way to Maria. I think it's harder to have the key, and I somehow pulled that shit off, which I will never
Yeah.
know how I did that. But I unlocked Maria, and then when I started dying as Richter, I was like, oh, well, character select, let me use Maria. And then I started playing through the game just fine. And then I got to like stage 5 or 6, and I was like, man, this is not the quote unquote brutal experience I thought this was supposed to be. And then you got a text message that day and said, hey, is playing as Maria like easy mode? And you said yes. And I said, fuck, I got to replay some stages. And so that was my intro to
Yeah.
Castlevania Rondo of Blood.
You mentioned the key mechanic. Do you want to explain that and kind of our sub goal throughout Rondo of Blood?
Yeah, I will say I didn't get too far on this in my playthrough because I didn't go back to 100% every single detail of this. But yeah, so there's Maria, then what, 4 other
I
um
think three. I think there's four total, including Maria.
so yeah, there's three other, well, I guess, is there a word for them? But damsels in distress that are
I
locked
would
up.
call them, yeah, because they really lean into the classic trope of like damsel in distress. So
Yeah, so yeah, you know, there's Maria and these 3 others who are trapped in cages, and at some point, well, one, most of them are kind of hidden away. Like I said, Maria, you can kind of stumble into. It's not obvious, but there is like a staircase that's like, what's down here? And then you kind of see her. The other
yeah,
ones, though, I did not find without looking them up organically.
same.
And then,
A couple like by accident, but
but yeah, it's not just a matter of unlocking, just getting to them. You have to find the key somewhere in the level, and it's probably, I think they're all hidden in like a breakable item where you would get a heart or a sub weapon or something along that nature. So it's kind of
there's
twofold.
one where like you have to fight a bird for it. I don't know if you saw that one or not.
I don't recall that.
But oh, that one is in. I think it's in the clock tower, and you have to hit a gear in the top corner of the
Okay,
thing.
so I knew about the gear. I didn't go back to that level because I fucking hated that level.
Yeah, that level sucks. Um,
But
but
yes,
to your point with the key, like the key is a trade-off significantly
right, because there's no
in
sub
your
weapon.
ability. Yeah, you're losing that. You can't do anything but carry the key until you uncover the damsel.
And I guess depending on the screen, are they always on the same screen, or is there a chance of missing out to a death and the checkpoint?
I think there is a chance
I think Maria's, you can, because Maria's is on the sprint from the
from the
beast or
whatever you
whatever.
call that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then you checkpoint after he falls away.
Yes. Yeah, you can definitely miss these. I mean, granted, there is stage select at a certain point, so you can always jump back to
Right, but you would have to restart the whole stage. So let's
for
say,
sure.
like,
Yeah,
if
yeah, yeah.
keys in door, after door 1 and prisoner or whatever is after door 2, if you die after door
And there was a
2,
checkpoint at two.
you have
Yeah.
to you checkpoint there and you lose the key. So you had to restart the whole level, get through door 1, which could be a pain in
Yeah.
the ass depending on the level. I'm looking at you, weird crow things with the fallen bridge collapsing. That was the hardest part of that level besides the boss fight.
Yeah, that did. So there's some stages. Just today, I sat down and I was like, because we're streaming soon, some Castlevania stuff, and I was like, I want to run through Castlevania 1 and just see like how far can I get on a single life, like just in one go. Like I haven't played this game in a couple months. Like where am I at just with my run? And there's like stuff in that game where you learn through repeated playthroughs. The best thing to do sometimes is just go. Don't try and fight, don't try and whatever. I always take that same approach with that scene you're describing, and it doesn't. You have to fight a little. You can't just
Yeah,
like
you had to
run.
fight
You
a little
kind
bit.
of have to fight. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Um, but yeah, but no, that's like I said, the key mechanic. You kind of there. A death can lock you out from getting
Yeah,
the prisoner. So kind of have to play that correctly once you kind of get a key. Um, But yeah, I mean, where do you want to? You said about describing that. Where do you want to go next?
So, well, I guess starting off like after that, what was the most difficult thing to understand about playing this versus something like Symphony of the Night?
Um, I think it was just wrapping my head around just how stiff Richter is.
Hmm.
And I think I found out something about myself. And I don't know why it took this long. I think I hate the stiff platformer.
Yeah,
Period. Not my favorite.
yeah,
Any of these games we've ranked, and any of these games I've played in the past, like I've tried playing Castlevania 3, stiff, not having a good time. I not that is not a good game. Just I never came back to it because of that.
it's yeah.
Valis, when we play Valis, that game's tough as
Hmm.
nails, but also I did not ever like how stiff that game felt. But
Yeah,
then this game does something because there's Richter, who is stiff as a board, and then there's Maria, who's this elegant lady who can platform with the best of them. I'm looking at
yes,
you even too, Mario. Like,
yeah.
she's
She's got a
great.
double jump.
I
Yeah,
didn't even
it's
use the
weird.
double jump because I forgot it was the thing because I'm so used to Richter. But like, besides the double, like she moved elegantly and it's not stiff and there's some forgiveness to her movement. And I
Yeah,
think playing as Maria then going back to Richter just finally made me like I hate the stiff platformer.
that makes sense. That
Now
makes a
I
lot
don't
of
hate
sense.
this game though. I think this game is excellent still.
Good. I'm glad that that's able to like still cut through, even though it's trying, right?
Yes, it's yeah. And then there's like other things too. So I forget. I think it's the second. It is the second level, the entrance to Castlevania. There is an axe knight, the one that throws high and low.
Hmm.
So with Maria, you can duck the high one. She's small
Oh
enough.
yeah,
Richter cannot duck. Like you have to
you got to
strategically
hit it.
hit and jump and whatever. And
Yeah.
like finally conquering that because that was the big thing that kept killing me. That and the ignoring crows if I didn't hit it in time, they were or the bird or whatever. They would fly all around me and it'd just be a nightmare. But then, yeah, that accident was like the first big. It was almost like the gas coin test at times.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And kind of like once I persevered, it was like, all right, maybe slow and steady. Wins the race here a little bit, and then you get into the thing and you have to keep running from the zombies, and that quickly changes. But no, I like that encounter and getting through it just kind of put me finally in the right mindset of like, all right, this is one of those, and it's gonna be trying, and you may need to put the controller down at the end of a
Hmm.
session and just cool off and then come back or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts, my cliff notes, if you would, on my
No, and
feelings
that
on the game.
like this game is really, really tough, and I think to that it's that platforming and it's that unforgivingness that is like still prevalent in this. Where like Symphony of the Night, when you die, yeah, you go back to wherever you last saved, and it sucks sometimes, but it's at least like their save points pretty prevalent enough, and it's once you kind of get there, it's not hard to get back through. Like most of the enemies in Symphony of the Night are kind of easy to, like the overworld enemies, generally speaking, are kind of easy to like just steamroll through. It's the ones that are, I'm sorry, rather in this game in comparison, some of these enemies that are just like in the stage, like you have to fight. Like it's not just a matter of like whip and move on. There's some skeletons and stuff that are like that, but some of them you really have to like go up against for a little bit before you can make it past. So I guess I remember it clicking for me where I kind of accepted death as happening, and you made the gas coin comparison too, where like playing those games, did that click back here at all? Like that part of your brain where you're like, it's okay, I just
Yeah,
need to
some
endure.
some of that
I need to learn the
stubbornness.
patterns and
Yeah, some of that stubbornness came back. It would just suck that like when you had to restart a level. But then,
mhm,
like, I don't know, you start getting through a level, and there's like one spot where it's like dicey on how things happen, but 90% of the level, you just like, all right, it's like do this, do this, do this, and it's not like you're speed running it, but like you're just efficiently mowing your way through the level. And that's
Yeah.
like kind of what all these games from this generation do.
Yeah, very much.
Um, so yeah, I mean, not that like Dark Souls gave me this insider thought feeling of
No,
like,
no, no, no,
yeah,
but
but
just that similar like
it did scratch that similar tone, but also like all these games, like may I remind you, we play Super Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, and that game's
yeah.
just fucking hard as nails. Harder,
Yeah.
I would say harder than this too. Like,
I agree. Yeah,
but
I
yeah,
fully agree.
it's
I
like
beat this
all
game.
these games are like this. Even like The Lion King is hard as nails.
Yeah. Yeah, and you like it's through repetition that it gets there, right? It's not that like the game gets easier, it's just you get used to what's happening and you can anticipate things a little bit more.
Yeah,
Um
like level 5, like the ghost ship. Like I died instantly to like the
mhm.
people casting their rods. As soon
Yeah,
as I killed
100%.
one, I never died to whatever again.
Exactly, exactly. There's a stage in Castlevania 1 where birds fly by and drop flea men. Actually, I think I mean there's some of those in here too, but like there's some of that stuff where like just through repetition, like I know when it happens and I know exactly when to swing the whip to kill the flea man before he can bounce along and be annoying and kill me or hit me too many times. Thinking about Symphony of the Night, did this sort of give you flashbacks? Did this look familiar, feel familiar in that like world sense?
um, I want to say not exactly. I just don't know if it's been that long since I played Symphony, because I played
Yeah.
Symphony, I think, within the first month of joining the podcast, which would be, what, 2016?
Yeah, almost 10 years ago.
So it's been a minute since I've played Symphony, but I think like anything Metroidvania would give me that sense. This,
Yeah,
it just, I don't know. The stage based nature of it just
was enough to.
it didn't bring me back to Symphony too much.
Well, the thing I'm curious if you go to Symphony now, what you'll recognize. The thing I see in it is like there's all of the sprites from Symphony came from this game because they just were like,
I mean, that
we
makes
don't have
sense.
the like. Remember, Symphony was the B project or even the C project. Like they were putting it all in on N64, and for Symphony, it was just sort of like, yeah, you guys can whatever. Like they gave it to a bunch of junior people to work on. Like it was not meant to be the big thing, which is why they just reused assets from this and
I mean, I
from
remember
Bloodlines.
some of the enemies, like
Yeah. Yeah, the Axe Knight's like
eh,
1-to-1. A lot of
the
the things
Onyx,
are
the wall Onyx looking motherfucker.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yes. I think they're bone dragons is what they're called.
That probably is more appropriate than wall
Hate them
Onyx
so much.
motherfucker.
Hate them. I think I literally like yeah,
Oh, they're a
my
pain in the ass.
first note I wrote in this is any section with flea men or bone dragons suck. Like it just the only thing gratifying about the bone dragon is when you do finally kill it, it just turns into like a wave of hearts or
Yes.
money bags or whatever. But yeah. Um, Let me see. I guess could talk through some of the stages. Some of the boss fights, things like that along that way. This game's peculiar. I guess let's go that direction. There's multiple paths you can take. So, like Matt mentioned before, you're rescuing or you can rescue some of the damsels in distress, including the one playable Maria Renard, but also including Richter's kidnapped girlfriend. Um, but there's options. So like as you go through, depending on how you get through a stage, you end up at optional bosses, which take you to a different path. There's sort of like an upper path and a lower path. Um, and this is another thing too, where I mentioned sort of this is the culmination of all of the classic style Castlevania games. I probably won't do it all throughout, but where it makes sense, I'll call some things out that I thought were cool. So like in the first stage when you're going through and everything's under on fire and everything, that stage is one of the villages from Castlevania 2.
Oh,
which is
okay.
just like,
That felt very much like a village in
yeah.
Simon's
And you'll
Quest.
see it like when we play Castlevania 2, you'll see it in there. Like it it's that kind of brought to life in the new TurboGrafx or PC Engine art style, um, which is really neat. Um, yeah, that one's pretty straightforward, right? Like the kind of like it's the entrance to or the sort of lead up to the castle. Um, it gets you familiar with movement. It gets you familiar with attacking. The one thing I like about this game, movement wise, we talked about how stiff it was. There's some changes they make to movement and just the overall gameplay that I think are such a refreshing change compared to the previous games. So, one, you can jump on and off of stairs in this game. So yeah, when you jump, you're stuck in whatever direction you are in, right? It is stiff, whatever. But when you hit the stairs, or like rather, if you jump into stairs and you just hold up as you're falling into them, you'll start walking up them. Same
Okay.
thing, you can drop down.
I did that accidentally one time. I was like, this. I always thought you went through the stairs. And so, all right, so that
Yes.
explains that feeling.
Yes, that is intended. And it's a great way, like when you start to get through, like, I think it's like stage 4, where it starts. Yeah, it is stage 4. Uh, it starts off with flea men right at the beginning and you kind of go down and then back up around and there's a red skeleton on the bottom and another one up top before
Mm-hmm.
you hit the stairs to go up where you start having those, I don't know what they're called, but like bladed things spinning. Yeah, that area, there's a red skeleton and before he wakes up you can jump right over him and land on like the halfway point of the stairs and hold up and you're already up the stairs before he fully becomes erect and can hit you. um So that's really neat. Another big gameplay change is the ability to pick up sub weapons. So every game prior to this, when a sub weapon would fall from a candle and you'd pick it up, you traded that immediately with what you had. Here you see like you pick one up, it throws the other one you had on the ground and gives you the option to pick up one or the other,
Okay.
which is great because that is the most frustrating thing in like Castlevania 1 or any of the others where it happens where like you've got, especially like Castlevania 1 has an item doubler. So you'll end up at a certain point, you'll get these, they look, it's a Roman numeral 2 or 3. And it basically means like you can throw 3 axes for the price of 1 heart rather than, one
Mm-hmm.
per. And accidentally hit a candle and a holy water something. Whoops, lost my like superpower. That sucks. So this giving you that option to kind of go back and forth. The other one is the backflip, which can save you in a jam. Like if you have something coming at you in the wrong way, you can quickly do a. Victor does this really cool looking backflip. There's also ways to kind of use it for platforming in different sections, whether you like fall and want to get out, or there's one section, it's optional, like path. I don't know if you hit this or not, but where there's big boulders falling downstairs. Did you hit that part at
That
all?
sounds familiar. Boulders coming down.
There's boulders coming down, and flea men will ride atop
Yes.
some of
Yeah. Yeah.
them.
Yeah, yep. Yep. Yep.
That one, I really like to get up that. I still have trouble with it, but it's easier for me to do backflips onto some of the boulders in certain sections rather than like try and jump the normal way.
Sure.
Um, but like all of that, I think like gives Richter, he's still stiff, but a little bit more mobility and gives you a little bit more option in terms of like moving through the stage and avoiding or engaging with obstacles depending on how you want to. Um, there's also no whip upgrade in this. Previous games had you needed to collect several pieces of the whip so that it could be fully whatever. And this is just like, nah, he's got his whip. It's not going anywhere. If you have to die and restart, you're not collecting the whip again. Um, yeah, I think the other thing I noted was like the physicality of Richter versus the others. Like his literal, like if you look at all of the other Belmonts up to this point, they're all kind of like meatheads and like real thick, and most of them have mullets. And like in this case, Richter's like this kind of young, hot guy, like I mean, this game too also uses a lot of anime cutscenes, but he's very anime influenced. You've got the item crash stuff that feels like straight out of Dragon Ball Z. Um, like, yeah. So your every sub weapon you can hit. What is it? Select, and Richter will do. It might be you're playing Requiem, so it might be.
Yeah.
I think it might have been triangle on
Yes.
there,
Yeah.
but that's where like Richter does this kind of crazy super move with whatever sub weapon. It uses a lot of hearts, but it can come in a pinch. Like I use the one with the cross against the Minotaur, and it just like eats the Minotaur boss. And you can kind of like as he's getting destroyed by these crosses, you're just hitting him in his legs, and he's kind of frozen and not able to do much, and then the boss fight's over. Um, did you do you remember? Did you stick across like the top path, bottom
I think
path?
it was the top path. I did encounter like the optional eye boss.
Oh yeah, that one's cool.
I want to say that's probably one of the only ones that at least that I remember. But yeah, I stayed along that top path for sure.
Which is the standard like
Yeah.
way to go. Um, Along that path, is there a level that stands out as like least favorite or a favorite?
Um, I don't know. They all have like their pros and cons to them.
Yeah,
I kind of do like the idea of the ghost ship level is just the beginning of that level fucking sucks.
yeah. I really like that it sways though. Like I loved the animation of that. Like it's always kind of like moving up and down.
Yeah.
Am I thinking of the right one?
Yeah, no, that's the right one. But if I remember right, that's the one where it's the bridge that's collapsing, right? Or is that the
Oh,
next
at the
level?
very okay, sorry. I'm talking about like once you're like in it, there's the wait, are you talking about the ghost ship or the hidden dock?
Sorry, the ghost ship, and I'm wrong. The collapsing bridge is level 7. That's the clock tower.
Yeah, yeah, that one's later. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
In the lead up to the clock
I like the
tower.
ghost ship level a lot. I like the way it sways. I like the hidden path down low is interesting to figure out. I like the random uh one hit death picture boss
Painting,
fight.
yeah, that
Yeah.
thing's terrible.
I knew I was like
Uh,
hitting that thing. I was like, why the hell is this not budging? And then I went to the door, and then fuck, of course, it rebounded quicker than I thought. It got me,
and it
life
just
gone.
murders you.
Um,
Yep.
but no, like, and then if you don't take the bottom path, the fight against the random weapons in the floating sky.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, yeah. Then there's gun, man with gun. You have all this other shit, then man with gun pops up.
Yeah.
But no, I think I like that level the best. Besides that boss battle, which can go fuck itself. And then probably I don't know, probably my least favorite, and it's not even. I think these levels are just notorious. So as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Fuck!" The clock
Yeah.
tower level.
Yeah, the clock tower is always the most trying one in any of these. Like it's it's always the hardest level, and the boss fight's always way harder than fighting Dracula. Like, I don't know about you, but Dracula for me is a breeze.
Um, yeah, I mean, I actually never went back to beat Dracula with Richter. I did it with Maria first just to
Oh
figure
yeah.
out the pattern, and I just never went back to do it with Richter. But I feel like it would only take a few tries, and then I would
He's
figure it out.
easy. So he's got two moves, right? He opens up his cape and he throws
Right,
out the triple flame, or he throws out the black electricity ball things that go
right,
across. With the flames, once you know the pattern, it's so easy just to jump over them right before they spawn so that you don't get hit by them, and you hit him in the head before you get hit. And it's a throw. I mean, it's been working basically the same way ever since Castlevania 1. You can also do a whip and extinguish them if you know the
mm-hmm.
timing on that. And then when he does those one, two, three, and then the next one he's going to do the black ball thing, you just duck and jump over those and like rinse and repeat. When he transforms, it's just a matter of like avoiding him jumping and avoiding his flame thrower,
Yeah,
ball, whatever. It's so easy. But Clock Tower, no, not at all. And Shaft, or I guess
Chef's
Shaft's
ghost.
ghost, yes, in that instance, not at all.
That maybe 3 pixel forgiveness of the jump over the lying that comes out is ridiculous.
Yeah. But another one of those, like, who do you think you are? I am kind of moments in playing a video game where it's just like, oh, God, I got him. Like, it's so rewarding when you finally get past that. The stage, I think it's right prior to that, when you fight
It's the gauntlet.
not Shaft, but yeah, you
Yeah,
have
the
the whole boss
universal
rush.
monsters.
Well, it's all from Castlevania 1. So that was the exact boss
Oh,
lineup from
okay. All
that.
right.
Yeah. It's cool. Like they kind of call back to that. Like, there's all these little like nods here and there that for a Castlevania fan, it's like super extra nice touches, but also for you just playing it, it's still just like, oh, sick. It's the Universal Monsters. Um, it's cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I didn't mind the boss rush. They give you a very generous. I think because I got them next turn, so I don't know, but they give you a very generous checkpoint after the Universal monsters for Shaft. So if you die
Yeah.
taking out the first 4, but you're within your save your same oh my shoot your same
Continue.
continue, uh,
Yeah.
you start right from Shaft again, which with full
Yeah.
health, all the hearts or whatever, it's helpful.
He's good. He definitely takes a while. Like you got to learn all of them well, I don't know. Some of the monsters I feel like even my first time playing it, they were easy, but I don't know how easy they were because I knew them from Castlevania 1 and the patterns were similar or
It
I don't
wasn't
know.
that they were hard. It was just like how much chip damage can you take, and then oh no, there's a new one that I don't know how this is going to go, and then it was just a matter of
Yeah.
learning.
Yep. Um I'm looking through. Yeah. The other part for me, I mean, were you surprised when you saw a stage select on like a percentage of completion for the first time?
Um, no, I knew from what you said. I remember there being a stage select, but also like in the little bit of Castlevania 3 I played, I remember it being
Oh
a
yeah,
stage
different path.
select as well. So I figured that would show up again. What I was shocked to see though was your money and what you can do with that money.
Yeah, you want to talk about that system?
The boss
Yeah.
video system. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, if you're stuck, because usually, I mean, I guess you can hit continue right all, and it will shoot you back into the level, but
Mhm.
you can duck back out to the main menu or change character or whatever, and it will send you to like the screen where you can go to stage select or change character or whatever. Um, but there's like a extra. I forget the actual menu item. Is it just like extras or
Ooh, I don't
shop?
remember.
But there's a selection towards the bottom of it that it will let you collect, let you use the money or the currency you've been collecting all throughout, and use it on boss battle videos or guides that not only show you how to defeat the boss, but also kind of shows you the room before, because the room before a boss is kind of like a replenishing moment. Most, if not all, probably all, I just couldn't find all of them, have some kind of hidden meat
Meat.
health, health thing to give you some more health if you've taken some damage along the journey to the end there. And then some of them have opportunities for you to switch out sub weapons. Some, different levels give you different options depending on whatever in the boss fight. But yeah, so you have that resting room with some of those options, and some of them again are like secret types things. And then the boss. This video not only shows you a no damage run on the boss, but will show you where everything is in that room, hidden or not hidden, which is convenient, especially for the health, because you might be at half health, and that that big old turkey
Oh
might be
yeah.
the
You
difference
often
between
are.
winning and losing in the next room.
Um, yeah, like a lot of those when you there's levels like I've had to replay where like getting to the boss was not hard, getting through the level was not hard, but then dying from the boss, there's like just something in your head or whatever it is, and that trek back to it, you end up just like eating it all the way. So sometimes, yeah, those like hidden meats play such an important factor.
I mean, but even like the no run stuff. So like the first two times I lost a goat, probably like two continues worth of losing to Shaft's Ghost. I was
Hmm.
convinced you could not jump over the wave. What is it? It's like I forget the animal it summons. Is it like a cat or a lion or something like that?
I don't remember. Let's
B-
go lion.
But there, it's a wave, and it's very obviously like like it wants you to jump, or it seems like it wants you to jump over. And again, it's very near close to pixel perfect. You might have 3 or 4 pixels of forgiveness.
Hmm.
But the first two times, I was convinced you could not jump it. I thought you had to do something else. I watched the video and I very much see you can jump over. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. I just have to try better.
I've got to get back to it.
Um, so yeah, they were helpful. But then there was also like, um, the Grim Reaper, the top of the ghost ship, level 5, that
Hmm.
dirtbag. There was also those where I was like, all right, what's the trick here? And then you go and watch the videos, the exact same thing you're doing. But their axe spawns are incredibly more lucky than what you've been getting so far.
Oh,
And it's like, oh yeah, all right, cool. So luck's just involved in a no hit run here.
I'm pretty sure in that one, the like now I really you would love watching the speed runs from
Oh, I'm
AGD2.
sure. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the tech for that one is to get the holy water to do the item crash because
Mm.
it'll kind of kill those as they spawn, and then you just have to focus on taking out death. I think that might be. I forget at this point, but yeah,
Yeah, I was using the
uh,
cross because I was using the
yeah,
crash, and it would like because he would float and it would hit him enough, and I was like, all
it hits
right,
him, and
yeah,
yeah, and it takes out
it does a decent
the
job
side.
of some crowd
Yeah,
control of the axes. Yeah, yeah.
um, yeah. I can't find anything, and I'm looking through the manual to see what that section was called
How about
for.
you? I don't think you answered.
What was the question? I don't
Like
remember.
favorite worst levels. Then we just kind of been
Hmm.
talking from there.
I gotta look.
Or
I
it,
mean,
well, I spun out past that because I was talking about the videos, but
no, yeah, yeah. The clock tower I think might be my least favorite, just because it always is. Um, I do like the some of the sub levels, like doing the going back through those, because those two, they're not the primary way to play. And even when you like know what you're doing to get back there, and like you look like I've looked up to see like where exactly do you have to go to get back to the subs. I will forget, and I kind of always end up in my playthroughs of this game back along the top path. So it's those ones where like the mountain range is one where I forget you're kind of in like a swamp area, but like I've seen that one so infrequently that like it's still exciting to me to go through it. So I don't know that it's necessarily like a favorite, but it's just like I don't know. I haven't seen it that often, so it's exciting in that way. I kind of hate parts of the chapel, but I do really like the chapel. Level 3. Um, that one is the one where there's a bell,
yes.
and yeah, there's like cool fun little like secrets, like if you kill the it's like a giant skeleton with a giant bone in his hand. If you kill him, you can like ring the bell and it'll drop meat, and I think a second ring will drop probably just money
Mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly. um yeah, I also like the actually I think it's still in that same swamp one I just talked about, but there's like a waterfall um that you can go through. Yeah, 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 it's in that stage. You go there's like a waterfall you can ride logs down, or you can take an alternate path. The ferryman is in one of these levels somewhere. I forget which one, but you remember him from Symphony of the Night.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's here as well. You'll get to know him soon in Castlevania 2 also. I gotta stop throwing that one out there because it's gonna sour your opinion of this game. Um, yeah, no, uh, this game. I think for me, I don't know. It's more of what I said at the beginning. Like I just love that this one takes you through like the journey of Castlevania all in one experience. You get all of it kind of crammed into one. Um, Looking at the visuals specifically, it's something that like I don't think it's called out about it in this game enough. But if you just look, I mean, even scrolling through this page where it's showing screenshots of the stages, you can see the depth and range of color in the game. There's so many colors on display, and that was all because they were able to take advantage of the PC Engine CD-ROM 2 stuff, where the way the PC Engine handled color just gave them different palette options than other platforms at the time. So like I think Bloodlines looks dope on Genesis, and you know me, like I always love the Genesis like look and feel, but this just looks so good. This looks like a PS1 game to me. I mean, I'm saying that because I'm thinking of Symphony of the Night, but like just with like how good it looks, how many different colors are on screen, like it's so varied. It's just like bright in a lot of good ways and dark in others. I love that aspect of it. Um, the other big thing we haven't touched on at all is sound, specifically soundtrack, because this one is the first game where they got to use full CD-ROM audio, and it is so. I mean, I love Symphony of the Night, but I think this is my favorite Castlevania soundtrack, beginning to end. Like, it's just so good. There's so many good, like, I don't know how to even describe it, dude. Like, Symphony of the Night gets weird. The composer there, she did a lot of pulled in a lot of weird different like genres and stuff like that. But this one, there's like flavors of that stuff. It wasn't her who composed, but you know, you've got some of the mainstays like Vampire Killer and Bloody Tears. They're there, but there's all these new ones that happen that just like fit so well and like they feel so 90s, but still like I don't know. They still stand out. Did you feel that in this? Like, were you able to?
I was definitely, I can't remember what tracks now from what stages, but like after a play session, I would definitely be like in my head humming something, with it sticking in my head.
Yeah,
The soundtrack, that was actually one of the parts I was looking forward to because I did like Symphony of the Night soundtrack. I've always, all these soundtracks are
yeah,
usually in some way good, whether they're fantastic to great, but they're usually in that range somewhere. So I was happy
yeah.
with
I
this
mean, even the
one.
worst Castlevania soundtrack is still better than most games.
Yeah. So no, I was happy with what I was hearing and all that good stuff. Like I said, I can't think of anything specific that calls out to me, but I know as I was playing this, I
Yeah,
was humming stuff after play sessions.
yeah. It just pops. Um, I don't know. I don't know. We might be there. I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, I don't have much more. What else do you have written down or
I didn't have a whole lot written down, honestly. That's usually, I don't know, in some way that's usually a good thing when when I
yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. You were engrossed.
So yeah, nah, I think we hit all the points I wanted to hit.
I'll close. I will say, like, for me, this game is you can tell that the people who made this love making video games. There's so many secrets in the game, like so many little expressions that the characters make. There's interactions with the world and little secrets to find. I mean, you can play this game over and over again and still find something new about it, or a new section, or a new thing that happens when you have a certain weapon in a certain spot. Like, no two playthroughs are exactly the same. Uh, and that I think comes from people who are like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? I think on top of that, not only did the team like making games, they liked making Castlevania and they had a love for Castlevania. And you can see that with like how deep they go with callbacks to other games and just those homages all throughout. But I think it's also a game unfortunately for those in North America in the 90s, because this was all throughout video game magazines back then too. Like you'd always see this thing that like people would write about this Japanese Castlevania game that, whatever is not in America for whatever reason, which TurboGrafx did not make a huge splash over here as it was. But yeah, this game never came over because of it. And or there were a couple other reasons. There's some suggestive imagery in this that I feel like the American audience was still kind of rejecting a bit.
I
Um,
know um like referring to Maria as Richter's girlfriend seemed awkward because I always thought Maria more like as a teenager.
Wait, did they refer to her as that?
Oh, I thought you read that as that in the back of the
Oh,
box.
no, no, no. Sorry. No, his girlfriend's one of the other ones.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind.
Annette. Annette is Richter's girlfriend.
Got it. Never mind. Okay, now I feel a little bit
Yes.
better.
Yeah. Richter is meant to be, according to the manual, age 19, blood type B, and Maria is age 12, blood type AB.
All right, I
Of course.
was a little older.
Yeah. Yes. No, so that's what makes Symphony of the Night so dope is it's 5 years later, so she's 17 and she's Richter's missing at the beginning, right? Like she
Right,
can't
right.
find him. She goes to the castle to try and find him, and then she meets Alucard and all that fun stuff. Um, and yeah, like playing this game for the first time was like the ultimate homecoming after having Symphony of the Night being like my personal best game ever for so long. This one just felt like the perfect, I don't know, encapsulation of all things Castlevania to me. And it still is. And I'm terrified to rank it, but rank it we must. Um, yeah, thefreecheese.com/the list is where you can go to look at all of the video games we've ranked up to this point. If you're watching the video version, you can watch along as it's on the screen. I tried really, really, really hard. I don't have a ranking for this.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I do, but I know I can't just say this is the new number one. So I've got to.
I mean, you can. I would disagree, but you can.
I just kept, like, for me, I know where we're at. When I was sitting down and looking at this, I'm like, I know we're not going to both agree that this is number one. But looking at it, I'm like, I like this better than this. I like this better than this. And, like, genuinely, like, in terms of, like, game design, construction of this, like, top to bottom, to me, this is as perfect as Symphony of the Night. It's a different game, it's a different style of game, but everything about this is so well crafted and just such an excellent video game. If we got to number one, I'm not gonna argue. But I also knew coming into this that like it's not there, and that we're not. I knew we wouldn't be aligned on that. So that's where I just don't know where it ends up landing. And I obviously this discussion is important because I don't know.
Well,
Like
if you don't have, I mean, if one's your answer,
it's like one, but like realistically, three
okay. So I'm lower.
is kind of
I'm lower, but again, I think my realization of what I like, or figured out what I actually like about this game.
no for
Um,
sure.
I have it as the new. This should still be right, I believe. The new 25 between Res and Flower. However,
Shots fired.
I'm willing to come up.
All right, well, right off the bat, it's above number 16.
As
Easy.
soon as when you started going down your path, I was already looking up to see what would be, and I saw that. I was like, all right, well, we're going to be above 16 easily here in a second.
Easy. Yeah. Um,
I would I mean, I'll keep coming up. I think it would be a little bit of an insult to put South Park above this game. So put it in the top 10, and then let's talk.
So that's where it's weird for me because I think you could make an argument for WarioWare and I'd believe it, but I think this is better than Pokemon. I think it's better than Halo.
I mean, we're here. We're here. I have no. I mean, I think this is like the thing I always say, right? I have no problem jumping Pokemon.
I know that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
WarioWare, I still don't have much of an issue. I would maybe push back just a touch, but it's not worth us talking about it. I think agree that this is better than Halo 2. Or sorry, Halo 2 TOO.
The OO, yeah.
Yeah.
So then, like for me, also Doom. Like this is this is how I got here. It was like because where I started realistically was Sekiro. I looked at Sekiro and I'm like, man, Sekiro's so good. Sekiro, like similar, like you've got to train your brain to be like willing to play both of these. And then I started doing this walk, and when I got past Halo, I was like, okay, well, Doom and Quake, I know, but it's above those. And then Deus Ex, it was like Deus Ex rules, but there were parts later on in Deus Ex. I don't know, just it got a little. Then I'm over Deus Ex, and then I'm like, if I'm over Deus Ex, then I'm over Wii Sports, and I'm over Tetris, and I don't know.
Um,
But I know
we'll
you're
talk.
right in.
We'll talk. If we get to 3, I will jump Wii Sports. I as the years have gone on here, that game is
Yes,
put on a pedestal, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree.
Um, Doom 2016. I think now we're getting to preference, and that's the
fair.
problem. I think that's going to be the problem in how we talk
Yeah,
about
yeah,
this,
yeah.
because honestly, if we jump Doom, I think we jump Quake for the exact same reasons.
Yeah.
Deus Ex, I think, is my first like stop. Like my first
I'm
like
okay with
I
that.
would like really not fight back, but like let's really pick hairs here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if we're jumping Doom, we're jumping Quake. I don't know. I like Doom a lot. I like Quake a lot.
Yeah.
I just think I prefer those games, but I think as this season has shown, I prefer first person shooters to something like this. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
opposed to jumping it though, because I have that perspective. Deus Ex though is a different beast. I think that game is, while like Rondo of Blood is like the sum of its parts to maybe launch the next wave of Castlevania or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah.
Deus Ex was the start of something that no other game since has kind of nailed.
Yeah. No, that's fair. And I think the other thing with Deus Ex, I'm not taking into consideration is I've played Rondo how many times at this point, so that familiarity with it and whatever, and like it's the same thing we ended our Deus Ex conversation on with like, man, imagine all the playthroughs we're gonna get to have and how different they're gonna be and how like intimate we get to be with that game at a certain point. And I think, yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
like I don't want to spoil a Deus Ex on a Rondo of Blood, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
just think of like something very early, like an early key person you can take out, just like in the first
Sure.
stage,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
how that might throw off a playthrough. Like you'll go through the same levels, but how does the story get told different all of a sudden now? What happens to your character? How do you progress the next couple stages almost, right? Um
Yeah.
Not that, Rondo doesn't have that, but I mean, you have your hidden stages, you have your hidden bosses. Not that you can't replay them over and over again, but like once you kind of hit that, Deus Ex almost has like that. I don't want to say infinite because that's loaded, but almost
No,
like
but there's yeah.
you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
make
There's so
small
many
tweaks
different.
along the way, and the
And
end
and when we're
outcome.
talking about expert craftsmanship, like the idea that they built so many potential possibilities into Deus Ex,
And
I
the
think
game
that
doesn't break either is impressive.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I would say I'm more than happy to come up to 5. It's between
Let's
Deus
do
Ex and
that.
Quake, and then like I said, if we want to really split hairs with Deus Ex, we can. But I would be more than happy to meet you all the way there.
No, I'm good with that. That is what we call compromise. If I can click and drag. There we go. Yeah, I mean, like I know the bias within me with this stuff. So I knew it wasn't
Oh,
there.
but
I just like
the top 10 gets weird with bias because there's so many first person shooters
yeah.
in there now, and a
I
Pokemon
know,
game.
but I still like I got to a point where it was like I don't know what else I don't know what else to do with this. Like I was having a tough time.
Just remember this conversation we ever talked about Snake Eater.
Yeah, I know.
We
We
won't.
still
We won't because Sons of Liberty has been done dirty. But
I
just
know.
remember, if we ever come season 33, I'm out of game ideas.
I don't know what to do about Sons of Liberty.
It's fine. It's an outlier. It's an outlier, and then
Sure.
probably by the time next year ends, Parasite Eve will be in the same boat.
Man, where is poor Parasite Eve's at
It's like
38 right
30
now?
something, right?
Yeah,
37.
that's it's going. Boy, oh boy. Well, Rondo of Blood. Okay, my like final questions for Rondo of Blood now
Yeah.
that it's ranked. I guess one, will you play it again if you're bored and you realize, oh, that's still my PS4, 5, whatever.
It probably won't be the first thing I would play. I would probably go after the other stuff first.
The other Castlevanias?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I would probably go for fresh. I don't want to say new because they're obviously not new, but
Yeah,
fresh experiences.
sure, that makes sense. Do you have any interest in the 2.5D remake on PSP?
When so this is what it's almost like the 3DS and 2D or more, yeah, the 3DS and 2DS and all the different models of them and how
Yeah.
confusing it gets. I ran into some of that getting ready for this episode, and that's when I stumbled upon like, oh, okay, that's a 2.5 remake. I am
Yes. Yeah.
interested. I will probably though go for the fresher experiences first.
Yeah, because there's some like minor changes to like throw you off of like your expectations, but it's generally like a beat for beat remake of this. Um, and then did I have anything else jotted in there? No, I think that's it.
Well, how about you? What's
Yeah.
I mean, you said I mean, I know this
I
one and Symphony of the Night are like your two shining stars.
like what are my other ones or
I
what
don't
am I
like. I don't
playing
know. Like,
next?
where
Or
where do you go? What do you think's next for Castlevania since you played all of them, or the key ones, or whatever?
what I hope is next for Castlevania is something brand new. I who knows?
Do you want
Um,
a three? We may have discussed this in the past. Like, do you want 3D? Do you want 2D? Do you want classic 2D? Do you want a Metroidvania?
I know I opened this by talking about how lost Castlevania was when this game was being developed and how they just kind of kept remaking Castlevania 1 and how weird that was. But I kind of wanted to remake Castlevania 1 behind the back. Like, I
Hmm.
think Castlevania 64 is a really interesting idea that just couldn't get all the way. And some of the ones on PS2 were like really intriguing in terms of like what they wanted to do in a 3D space behind the back. But games just didn't feel right in that. You know what I mean? Like that era, like doesn't. It's not there, but like you've played Bloodborne with a whip now. You know what I mean? Like you know what it feels
Right.
like. Like
Yeah.
Elden Ring has one too, right? Like
Yeah.
I think gameplay is there. So I would love to see what they would do with something in that kind of space. Because because I think the 2D Castlevania stuff is, I don't want to call it tired, but like
Other,
so many
this sounds like a familiar statement. Like other devs are doing it.
they are, man. Like Symphony of the Night influenced so many developers, and like
Just got one.
there's yeah, right. Like you can't not have 1,000 of these to play at any moment. And in some ways, a lot of these developers have surpassed what the team at Konami was doing back with Castlevania proper. The thing I do miss is I love the like setting and the lore in Castlevania and like all of that. So I think that's what we don't get in some of these other games. But like I don't know, there's really cool like there's one that just got a demo on Steam called Lady Dracula that is being made, I think, by one person, and it's just a cool looking classic style Castlevania game. There's a lot of these things that, yeah, I think can still do what Castlevania did. I
You're getting, well, there is a sequel to that one that was Castlevania, very heavily inspired. I can't think of the name of the Same of Life right now. The one that was kickstarted. It went through
oh
like an
yeah
art
yeah yeah.
change.
I mean yeah. So Igarashi had left Konami and made Bloodstained,
Blood stats, yeah.
and yeah, he's doing another one of those. I liked Bloodstained fine, but honestly, I had a better time with Curse of the Moon, which was the Inti Creates 8-bit
That was the one
style
I played.
Castlevania. Yeah, like I think that one was a lot more interesting than uh Ritual of the Night was. Ritual of the Night was good, but I don't know. Yeah, I want Konami to make more Castlevania games. There's still stuff for me to play too. Like I've never technically beaten 3. So like I still have to beat 3. But there's also people doing weird stuff with like 2, as you will see, and listener or viewer, we're going to be streaming 2 in October. So go to the website and look for the dates and times for that stuff. But I'm going to make Matt play Simon's Quest. The cool thing about 2, I hope you'll see and be able to see through the nonsense of, is like the ambition of that game. And the thing that sucks and holds it back is like the limitations of the hardware and the fact that they made a stupid decision to like intentionally lie to you instead of just like telling you what to do because it was obtuse enough. But there are people who've done ROM hacks to 2 to make it like playable and with an in-game map, and like it actually works. So I think stuff like that is still worth exploring today, where there's just no new Castlevania to play. Um, but yeah, I hope we get a 3D-ish thing. We'll see. Konami seems to be trying to make video games again, so I can see them remaking the story of one of these old classic games, but doing it in a more modern way. Um, I think if they did something like Snake Eater Delta with like Symphony of the Night, but in a modern, like
Right,
I would
yeah.
be all for that, which might sound blasphemous, but I don't know.
That'd be wild. They
Um,
could pull up. I mean, 3D environments and then turn that castle upside down and it work.
dude, be so good.
That'd be
I mean,
wild if
literally
they pull it off.
think of Bloodborne, but it's Symphony of the Night.
I mean, it's just still just
Like
Bloodborne to a degree.
for sure. Yeah, but like when you go to Castle Lanehurst, what is it? Lanehurst?
Castle
The guy
Canehurst. Martyr
Canehurst.
Glorious or Laborious.
There it is. I knew the
Yes.
L was coming from somewhere. When you go to that place, that immediately I was like, "Oh, all right, turning my brain off. This is a Castlevania. This whole game I just reshaped as a Castlevania game for me, and now I'm good." Um, but like in that castle specifically, like yeah, if they could pull that off, I think that's where Castlevania needs to go. I do think, I mean, I don't have any Castlevania games on the list for season 14, but I don't think that this is the end of us exploring Castlevania on the list.
Yeah.
So,
Now that I mean, I also don't expect Castlevania from me next year. But now that you've opened the door, not just to like Castlevania, but I know how Castlevania is to you, and you've opened the door. What can
of the,
I like of like
yeah,
key franchises we love and being rating our babies, if you would.
Yes, I'm much more comfortable now where we are 150 games into this, putting something so precious on the list. And like, dude, I mean, I still got number five. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Well, I mean, it's a good game.
yeah,
I'm not gonna
no,
sit
for
here and say
sure.
it's not.
Um, but yeah, it's been this weird balance. So we'll see. Next week, we've sung the Rondo of Blood. Therefore, that must only mean we've conjured the blood. We're playing Blood next week. The insanely difficult PC shooter from 1997. So come back and hear about our journey through that and the circuses and the trains and everything that Blood brings. Um, and we're gonna keep the train rolling with Zombies Ate My Neighbors the week after that. All before we wrap up October with a 25th anniversary celebration of the PlayStation 2. There you have it. And then we're through October. Until then, thank you, Matt. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.